Hello. Somewhere I did not expect to be today is the allotment. We are one of the unfortunate thousands of people who had a holiday cancelled yesterday, but it is sunny in Newcastle today, so that is one small positive. So I've come to the allotment, got some potting on to do, got some things to harvest, just harvested a load of tomatoes and the first ripe pepper, which is pretty good. Gonna harvest the melons as well. I think they are ready. I can smell melon on them, and they have cracked at the top, which I've also read as a sign that they're ready as well. So gonna harvest those, and yeah, just have a bit of a potter on really. Hopefully anyone else who's had a holiday cancelled or knows anyone else who has had a holiday cancelled, I hope you manage to find somewhere else to go, or I hope you just make the most of being off work. But yeah, there are worse things in the world happening than my holiday being cancelled, and I am aware of that. So the sunshine is a small consolation, but I will take it. But yeah, got some jobs to do here, so let's crack on. So have all of the seedlings outside now. I do like to water them from the bottom, so just pop them in trays with no holes in and bottom water them. Just find that that's better for me in terms of, essentially I don't like them to have water sat at the top, because then I find they can kind of go a bit mouldy and things. But yeah, some varieties of lettuce, some mustard, and some, can't actually remember what these are because, as you will be able to see, we have no labels. Some more lettuce and things, and in here some broccoli rabe, pak choy, and some Swiss chard. So yeah, I'll leave these outside for a bit while I potter on, and then put them back into the polytunnel before I go. Now, I know a lot of people told me that one sign of knowing that the melons are ready to be harvested is if you smell melon. And I can definitely smell melon. I don't know if it's real or whether I'm just hoping that I can smell melon, but I'm gonna harvest them today. There's 2 of them and they look pretty ready. They definitely don't feel really firm and hard anymore. And yeah, I'll harvest them and then cut them open when we get home and hopefully have some nice fresh melon to eat. Or if not, I'll learn that if I ever manage to grow a melon again, I definitely need to leave them longer than I have this time. Here we are, 2 hopefully ripe cantaloupe melons. I mean, I have no idea if these are ready or not. I can definitely smell melon, so I'm really hoping that's a good sign, because everyone online has told us that's how you know that they're ready. And I don't know, they're definitely not really firm anymore. And I also was reading that if you have this sort of cracking going on at the top there, where it starts to sort of define the shape of the melon, I've read that that also means that they are ready. So I guess the only thing I can do now is take these home and chop into them and see whether I have really deliciously fresh, juicy melon to eat. I mean, I've enjoyed growing them, to be honest. I don't think I've ever got a melon to this point. I've had really small ones before, and when they've been harvested and cut into, they just hadn't formed properly yet. So fingers crossed for these ones. So one other job that I'm going to get done today is planting out some of the spring onions that I've sown. So these were sown maybe 5 weeks ago now. just a few in each module, and I'll just plant them out exactly like this, just as they are, multi-sown. These are no name on the label. I really need to get better at doing that, but I know that these are Paris de Marca, which are the small round white variety. I've had quite a lot of success with them this year. Got like 4 or 5 jars of small round pickled onions in the cupboard, which is nice. So gonna get these planted out. It obviously is a little bit late on in the year. Gonna put them in the Polytunnel and should probably get a harvest throughout the winter into next year. But I'll definitely get something off them, which is great. I'm not too sure what they would be like outside. I'd definitely keep them indoors in autumn, winter. That's just probably because where we are in the northeast. I'm not too sure what it would be like if you were in London or something. I will ask Jessie, who has a much warmer climate than us, about if she grows spring onions outside in the winter and things. But yeah, gonna get these planted in the middle bed in the Polytunnel, and hopefully we'll get a harvest off these. Just gave everything a really good water. Have the spring onions, some purple basil, some spinach here. The dill has just started to go to flower there, so probably gonna need to take this out soon. Would still harvest quite a decent chunk off it and then make some dill pickles with those before I take it out. But I did notice that we have a lot of nasturtium seeds that have just self-seeded. When I was clearing the beds, there was a massive nasturtium plant in here, and I'm actually just going to leave them. I do really like nasturtiums anyway, but when they, or if they do pop up next season, I can always just transplant them somewhere that I want them to be, or I can just let them be in this bed and be a bit of a companion plant, whatever I'm going to plant in here. But yeah, that's the spring onions in, and I guess we won't know for a good few months if we're going to get anything off them, but I'm pretty positive that we will. I thought I would just share this just when I talked about how big the nasturtium plant was. I was not exaggerating, and that is one plant. This thing was growing like crazy, and I really just want to keep airflow quite good in here. I've cut a lot of the tomatoes back, really being quite brutal about it, really just chopped a lot of branches. Some of them still had flowers and things on, but yeah, a lot of people have reported blight, and I've had such a good year for the tomatoes this year, genuinely the best year that I've ever had, and I just don't want that to be ruined. So I'm going to try everything that I can to just basically make sure airflow is really good, so doors open, vents open, and just make sure that we've only really got the main stem, and then the tomatoes that are left on will hopefully ripen by the end of the season, which for us is pretty much going to be next month at some point, maybe beginning of October, but that might be pushing it depending on what kind of autumn we're going to have. But fingers crossed, no blight in this polytunnel. When I said we were brutal, I was not joking. There are some that I've just noticed that actually have tomatoes on still, so I might actually take this home and try to ripen it on the window, or just put it in with the chutneys that I'm planning on making this afternoon. But yeah, don't get me wrong, the nasturtiums are beautiful. I love them. I love how every single part of them is edible. But it was time for a really, really good polytunnel clear out. So behind this mess, we have the flower patch, and a lot of it has started to die off this time of year. Obviously, we do have some rudbeckia and things that are still popping up, but I do have this beautiful rose to plant in. Now, it's an Ava Bella shrub rose, and it is beautiful, double petaled. It smells amazing. The problem is I just can't actually decide where to put it. It needs to be in full sun, which the flower patch is pretty much from morning till night, has a lot of sun. but I just can't decide where to put it. I've never actually had a rose before. I do have a generous gardener David Austin rose at home, which is in a pot, and that one's a climber. But if anyone has any advice on where I can put this beautiful rose to get the most of it, if there's anything that I should plant it next to or shouldn't plant it next to, then let me know, because I'm not really a rose fanatic. However, I think that might have changed. There's not too much up here that is changing at the moment. However, this bed with random flowers in that we just had loads of seeds left over from is absolutely glorious. Borage, straw flowers, I mean, this is just beautiful. These have been grown from seed by me, which I'm actually very proud of, because I've grown veg for quite a few years now, but flowers was never really something that I got into. But I'm really starting to enjoy growing cut flowers, so I'm actually gonna chop these, take them home, dry them on the back of the door. But I am just loving this bed of random beautiful colour. Off home with my basket of goodies, got my straw flowers, tomatoes, and of course the melons, which I will update on when I get home and let everyone know if they are ripe or not. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, do the things, and hopefully see you soon.